What's up, people? We are live yet again. Transformer Slag podcast Saturday night live stream. Man, what a week we had. I did not expect to have this crazy a week going into Saturday. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. First thing I want to address, I didn't get to cover it at all this week. We lost someone within the Transformer community. Voice actor, really nice dude, Kirby Moreau, the voice of Rad from Armada. I'm here to tell you about the Transformers. And Hotshot during Cybertron passed away just a couple of days ago at the age of 47. Way too young to pass away. I met him, it's funny because I had to dig it up, and I was like, I met him at an anime convention. I'm not sure which one, but judging by the fact that Cybertron was on it, had to be past 2006. I want to say it was Anime North. I'd have to ask Josdy. He would know better than me. But I got to meet him, and he was a pretty cool dude. Very friendly to his fans. I remember a lot of people were asking for Inuyasha autographs, so that seemed to be really his wheelhouse. That and Gundam Wing. And, I just want to just go through quickly. A lot of people don't, in 97, he was Michelangelo in Ninja Turtles The Next Mutation. That was kind of I don't want to say it was his breakout role, but it was his first major leading role in anything. And while, Next Mutation Ninja Turtles wasn't all that great, it really was kind of his first major role that he got doing voice acting. It was in 2000 that his whole career exploded because he got a ton of leading roles. In the year 2000, that was his MVP year. He got Troa from Gundam Wing, which still to this day people love him for. He was Van from Vision of Escaflowne, the main character of that too. He was the dude with the sword and the red shirt. He replaced Ian Corlett, who was doing the dub for Goku for Ocean Group for years. So he was Goku, kind of midway through the Namek arc onward. So he took over as Goku. And also in 2000, from the non-anime side, he was Cyclops in X-Men Evolution. So just in 2000, he established his entire career. And then afterwards, in 2002, he was Maruku in Inuyasha. And then he would go on to be Rad in Armada and in Energon. And, of course, from the Mega Man side, another thing that I like, he was Elecman. And then ultimately, in the end, he would play, for Transformers at least, he would play Hotshot in Cybertron. He'd be, the more roddy Hotshot and the Earth Defense Hotshot. So, it's a shame he's not with us no more. We still don't have an update on, and if someone mentioned he was Colin in Jago. I forgot about that too. He wasn't in the movie though. He wasn't in the movie version. They got someone else to play him, I think. But it's just way too soon. We don't have an update yet on what happened to him because that is way too young. That is way too young. We've had a lot of voice actors that have passed away in the past in the Transformer world, but they're usually they're usually someone that's, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and some of those guys were smokers, so it kind of makes sense. But, man, that sucks. That really sucks to hear that. And I just didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance all week to talk about that. So I wanted to take that opportunity now to kind of just, make a quick tribute to him. And again, thanks for the memories, for the voice acting and everything like that. He did a lot. He did a lot of stuff. I was just kind of just going over the stuff that I remember personally of his voice. I mean, he also, in the mini Lego movies, direct-to-DVD, I think he was Anakin Skywalker also. Such a shame. But that being said, just wanted to just cover that. I don't want to start on a somber note, but so now let's get into the crazy stuff the rest of the week. So 2 days ago, thanks to Safety Korea, a whole bunch of stuff was dropped into our lap. We got to see a whole bunch of Kingdom stuff from the Deluxe to the Voyager to even the Leader class standpoint for Wave 2, 2.5, if you will. We're not really too sure. Also, we got our Hasbro packages in the mail. Mine's in the other room. And we got to see the trading cards and stuff and all of that, and kind of get to see the peel to reveal kind of gimmick. And man, like a lot of hype the past couple of days. Just a lot of hype the past couple of days. And it's been nuts. And like what I really want to talk about more than anything is just like all the reveals that we've gotten, because like that Dinobot that we saw this weekend, like I am so happy for people that they didn't have to pay for this thing, because this thing, and shout out to Ian who hooked me up with this, but like man, this guy, while he is amazing and looks great, is quite the pretty penny, and he's not perfect, he's just, there's a little bit of wobbliness to him with display and stuff, and some people are scared to transform him, but that New Kingdom one is great because it gives something that's that Voyager price point. And look, he literally just fell right now while we were talking. Such a shame. That's why it's a good thing that people will get a cheaper alternative. I'm going to lie him down. I don't need that to break. You're going on the Symbiote Studios t-shirts for now. Anyways, it's just great that there's a cheaper alternative, because like literally up until that masterpiece, like the best Dinobot toy was probably the Henkei version, which is like, it's just a repaint of the Universe 2.0 version. And even this one, like you have to use the missile as a sword, kinda, and it doesn't even hold very well. It's like, I guess this is about as good as it gets. And this thing is, I don't know, this thing is kind of hit or miss. So, and this thing might have been like $30 or something, or $40 if you imported it, because it was a Japanese release, even though it was a deluxe scale. So to get something that's a Voyager scale and be able to pick that up in retail, and it looks really good and really captures like that like the masterpiece head. Like, look at that. It's like it captures like that show model from Mainframe. And I mean, man, oh man, that is one good looking piece of plastic. Let me tell you, I'm very curious how the rest of it turns out. I hope they probably took a lot of what they learned from the masterpiece and engineered it downward. Obviously, like the way they did the faux chest, like they really compressed like the dino chest inside and put like, bigger kibble pieces on the side, so it kind of looks flush. Like they did a really good job, as opposed to like something that would be like that. Very, very good job. Looks really good. Really good faux chest too, with the fake eyes on the side. I really dig that kind of stuff. And the way that I see it, like that's going to be so many people's Beast Wars Dinobots on their shelves, and it will be a fraction of the price that the masterpiece will be. And they'll be able to transform it without fear and not worry about paint scratches and not have to worry about, importing it. It's going to be right there at your Walmart, and it'll be able to be picked up. Looks really good. Looks really, really, really good. And the other one that I'm excited about is Missy over here, who has not had a decent toy in a very long time. The last time she had a decent toy was stuff that I got to kind of personally work on, which was through BotCon. And BotCon 2016, I mean, it's over there in the display right now. I don't want to pull it out, but I wanted to pull this one out because, I mean, this was really it for like a good, Air Razor kind of bird figure. And when this thing was made, which was pretty much the figure you had in your display to represent that version for practically almost 3 decades now, like this version, like if you look at it, didn't even really have a mouth. It just had kind of like a mouth, just like a faceplate kind of thing, no mouth on it. They didn't, at the time when this was written, they didn't really know the gender of the character yet, so they kind of kept it ambiguous even in the bio. Kind of had like this wing gimmick, and these little things still to this day, it's like never was used in the show. Just kind of like, I don't know. And then like also undocumented, like how you could kind of put her gun on the back there of her fist. Like this, I guess. I don't know. Just all kinds of like weird stuff. Never got another good toy, really. It got like club related toys and, toys that were related to the Transformer Club, and they were all like Cybertronian versions. Nothing that ever really worked out well. So it's really nice that we're finally getting something that looks like the character model in the show, and just matches everything that's going on. That CG mock-up, the wings. We don't really know how big those wings are. Are they going to be big like this, or are they going to be like half the size that matches more like how it looked in the show? So I'm really, really curious how they go about that. That's going to be very interesting to see, to say the least. But I mean, it's some pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff that we have. I mean, that Inferno looks really good too. The Inferno wasn't... I mean, I love Inferno, and I have the Masterpiece one, but it's like that one doesn't surprise me too much because we had Grapple, so it was just a matter of time before that happens. What's up, Larry? It's just a matter of time before that was going to be a thing. And then who else was there? We had Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus, that one is like, wow, that's almost like too soon. That's like almost too soon. And that one's just like they just took the Siege toy and just retooled. And I love that Siege toy. Like, that Siege toy is easily probably one of my favorite Siege toys, I'd have to say. For sure. Because, like, just to get finally a white Magnus armor kind of thing going on, like, that's something that's long overdue. Long overdue. But that's awesome also. And then we have, like, everything else that's still to come too. Like, there's still the rumors. Where's that Trax that we heard about? Scorponok that we heard about. Shadow Panther, which is supposed to be a Generation Select, so that's going to probably be a Cheetor repaint. There's just so much. There is just so much that is on the way, that it's going to be pretty crazy. All the stuff that's going to be coming out. Oh, we got a super chat question. Super chat question from Joseph Ritter. Joseph Ritter, who's an awesome dude. Huffer, the greatest Autobot. He's the only one worthy to pull Optimus's trailer. Well, yeah, and that's another thing too, Joseph. Like, I mean, we got revealed Huffer, and what's crazy about Huffer is that, like, man, you know what? I'm gonna pull that one out too. Like, geez, like, this was like no joke. Once again, like, probably his best toy up to that point was like this Bakon one. And this thing, like, no joke, this little Scout class Cybertron repaint Bakon one, at one point, I think, and floppy still, no matter what. That's what happens when you repaint things a million times, especially this mold. Oof. This thing, I think, was like $70 at one point in the open market. I think he's $50 now. He's kind of evened out a little bit. But I mean, it's crazy. Like, so even like this is your best Huffer toy, and it's just a repaint of the armor hide from Cybertron, the blue one, which is not pipes. So, like, it's absolutely nuts. And now we finally get a Huffer that looks exactly like the Fluoro Deary design, and it looks spectacular. Like, I'm surprised. It's so good that it almost looks like something like third party would do. So, considering it's a deluxe class and everything, like, that's really hype. That is really, really hype. Like, that is really cool. And he looks like he comes with a gun too. So that's awesome also that we have that. Like, that is, I mean, it has like the blue matches like the purplish blue from the animation model and how it was colored by Sunbow. Like, I'm very impressed with what Hasbro has been doing up to this point and bringing it, to the forefront in retail. And it's really good too, because like some people were like, oh, like Studio Series, like, it's missing this character. When are we going to get that character? And I mean, I'm looking at some of these Kingdom toys, and they might as well just be Studio Series toys. Like, I mean, that Ultra Magnus leader class, that might as well just be your Studio Series Ultra Magnus, pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. A lot of them. It's same thing with, with someone like Studio Series Cyclonus that we're going to be getting. That might as well be your, the Kingdom Cyclonus that's going to be pretty much a Studio Series toy. So I hope he scales well with Scourge. That's going to be interesting to see. I wonder if we're going to get photo shoots of that. That'll be cool to have next to each other. But I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's so nuts, the stuff that we learned this weekend through Safety Korea. And I mean, hopefully we'll kind of learn more. Like it's one of those things that I almost felt that we saw those Safety Korea stuff on like late Thursday, and I was like, oh man, watch this, like Friday, Fan First Friday out of nowhere we're gonna get or something. And of course the Fan First Friday ended up only being G.I. Joe related, which was still nice. Some good Joe stuff was revealed, but really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. I'm very impressed with what Hasbro's done, and it's awesome. It's really cool. It's really cool, and I hope that we see more. I really do, because like this is a good, like right now, the way that retail is, and the way that even though we're in this crazy world we live in right now, retail has still been trucking along pretty strongly. You know, obviously some people in different locations have different kind of success with their Toys R Us's. I don't know if anyone saw. I want to mention something. I posted on Twitter an image from Toys R Us. Actually, maybe I'll. Where did I post that image? I'm trying to remember. I posted an image on Twitter from Toys R Us not too long ago, and it was just me, like, because a friend of mine wanted Gigawatt, because Gigawatt was showing up in huge numbers in Toys R Us, and I was like, hey, is anyone looking for a Gigawatt that's having a difficult time? And Gigawatt kind of is stopped being available through pre-orders in the United States, so I had a few friends in the States that were like, hey, I don't want to pay $100, $200 for it. So they were willing to pay the Canadian price, which still, in all honesty, isn't that great, the Canadian price, but it's better than the crazy markups that are happening on eBay right now, and in the secondary market on Amazon.com through the sold stuff. So I went to Toys R Us in Canada and picked up 3 of them for 3 different friends of mine who were like totally fine with paying, $59.99 Canadian, which for them with their American dollars is, I don't know, I think it comes to like 43 or something. So they were totally fine with it. They were cool with paying that. And people were like looking at the photo behind me. I really want to show that photo because I want to point out to people, because people are going like, oh my God, look how amazing the shelving is in Toys R Us in Canada. And I wanted to point out to people, like, if you actually look what's in the background behind me, it's all old Siege toys from like a year and a half ago, and old Cyberverse toys and BotBots toys from like a year ago. Like, it might be super stacked and full Toys R Us's in Canada, but not a lot of them have a lot of new inventory. That Gigawatt thing that happened pretty much was, them going like, well, Canadian market has a weird way of getting Gigawatt. Maybe we'll just send all the inventory to Toys R Us Canada. And that's kind of how we ended up with it. I mean, I still to this day have not seen a single Netflix Siege toy. Like the Netflix versions, the white boxes, or like, Elita 1 or any of that. I have yet to see any of that in person. I've seen it online, but I've yet to see it in person. And it's pretty nutty how the distribution is in Canada. So I know people are envious of us having Toys R Us, but I mean, Toys R Us has always been kind of already in Canada, and now that it's the only in Canada and a few places around the world, it's still kind of also still I have to find that image. I want to post it for you guys just so you could see like how nutty it is. For people who didn't see it on Twitter. One sec, I'm going to open it up. Gonna open it up and show you boys and girls. Just want to also say thank you to everyone who came to the stream last week when we did the stuff with EnterCon, when we had our guests and everything. It was good stuff. Where are you, this image? There it is. I'm going to take a picture of that one. But, I mean, it's pretty nuts. It's pretty nutty. Let me just post it for you guys so you could check it out. And you can see what's in the background there. It's like, it's nothing too spectacular, amazingly. Nothing too spectacular, unfortunately. It's amazing all the hoops I have to jump through just to post an image to you guys. I'm going to have to up my streaming game a little better. But I mean, the way that I see it, like, you guys still have it better in the States. Don't worry about it. Just because we have Toys R Us and a couple of gigawatts doesn't make up for the fact that we still have terrible distribution, unfortunately. Here we go. There's the photo. Actually, I'll just blow it up all the way. So, like, if you look carefully in this image here, now people are going like, oh my God, look how stacked it is. And yeah, it's a Toys R Us. Toys R Us always have very stacked kind of displays and everything. But I mean, when you look at what's there, like, look at all that Siege, all that old Siege product, all that old Cyberverse product. The bots are clogging the shelves, you know, it's a lot more of that, unfortunately. It's a lot more of that. And granted, you know, I live in Montreal, so it's a major metropolitan city. It's like the New York City equivalency of Canada in a lot of ways. But, I mean, this is like a best case scenario. And most of the time it doesn't look this good, let me tell you. It does not normally look that good. So, every time I go to the States and I see, you know, Transformer displays, whether it be like if I cross the border and I'll go to Plattsburgh or New York City or Vermont, anything that's more closer in that northeast territory of the United States, I'm always more wowed by that stuff. You know, a simple Walmart or Target will usually be a lot more impressive to me. But yeah, it's been a nutty week. It's been a nutty week. Also, like, I got this in the mail, which I was very happy about. This is non-Transformer related. I got my Game & Watch 35th anniversary Super Mario in the mail, which what I love about this, and not many people would appreciate it. So the packaging is all like Super Mario, but if you remove it like this, it's all this like insert, and then it looks like the original ball Game & Watch box that is shipped in back in the day, except for this like E for everything. So that's really cool that they did that. That little slide thing. That's so cool. Isn't that cool? And here it is. Yeah. Probably hear it. There's the little clock. You can play all the games. It's really cool. Really dig it. Dig it a lot. That's really, really cool. I've always been a huge Game & Watch fan. One of my earliest memories as a kid was there used to be this little like electronics store in the mall across the street from where I lived. Jaws D would know what I'm talking about. And this guy, it was like a watch store and like electronics and calculators, and he had just this huge display of Game & Watches. And what's cool with anyone who knows how Game & Watch is, if the game is on like demo mode, it actually plays through the entire game, like from front to back, and like how to beat it almost. And like years ago, by the way, I suggest these books, the History of Nintendo books. I bought these History of Nintendo books where they talk about every single Game & Watch game. And they're so crazy. Like, they just show every version. And it's such a great book. I believe there's 3 volumes of these. I have volume 1, 2. Volume 1 talks about Nintendo's pre-video game history. So it talks about more like the toys they made and the trading cards, some of their adult-based stuff, too, that they used to do back in the day. Before they did video games, and then Game & Watch was when they started getting into the video game scene. Isn't that cool? 2 little cool books. But I've been hyped about that. And the other thing, there goes Dinobot again. Be happy you're getting that Voyager Dinobot. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me on this. Another cool thing that I got, because I like collecting vintage video game stuff, the PC Engine, which was known as the TurboGrafx 16 in Japan, they had a release of Street Fighter 2 back in the day, Championship Edition in Japan, and the very first 100 copies of the game came with like this, it was called the fan book, which you got also with it, which had like all kinds of cool art from guys from Capcom and everything. So I've been trying to track this down for years. It has like a little manga with Chun-Li and everything in it. And pretty much it shows you how to beat all the characters with Chun-Li. So it's pretty cute. Gives a little like explanations and stuff. And then it has like some really cool art in the center, like Isn't that a nice one there? So I've been trying to track this down for years because in the Street Fighter world, that's like a super rare kind of item that's really, really tough to track down because there was only 100 of them for the special edition of Champion Edition, excuse me, not Championship Edition, Champion Edition of Street Fighter for the PC Engine. So that got shipped to me today from Japan. Managed to score that. Was very lucky. That's about it, really. Otherwise it was a pretty quiet week, but cool stuff nonetheless. Again, the news has just been absolutely stellar. It's really cool. Everything. Really, really cool. But how are you guys? It's I'm so surprised with so much they showed off today. I'm absolutely shocked, you know. Might as well give a shout out to Symbiote Studios. They provide our shirts. They provide our pins. They provide our plush. Got to do the pimping out. Every plush comes with a figure. Check it out, symbiotestudios.com. If you order from them, use the promo code Protoman, you get $5 off your first order. And they got a lot of cool stuff. They're starting to get more G.I. Joe stuff and everything to get ready for the movie. A lot of cool stuff. Hasbro funded incredible projects. Can't wait to see what they're going to be bringing more in the future from them. Definitely going to see a lot more plush from them. A lot of really cool stuff. I got to see some of the stuff they're working on. Pretty cool stuff coming. But anyways, other news. You know, what was interesting that they talked about today in the news was they finally found the director for the next Transformers live action movie, and they got a new director that he's pretty much all he's done was like that's of notable interest to people is he did Creed 2, and that's a pretty damn good movie. I really like the Creed movies, but the question is, while I like those Creed movies, is that a good director for something that is a Transformer movie? Because the sad thing is what we want as a live action movie is very different than what Hollywood imagines what they want from a live action Transformers movie. What we want is those first 5 minutes from the Bumblebee movie. That's what we want. Like what the first 5 minutes of the Bumblebee movie was, we want that as a whole movie. Like that's what we want. But the reality is that's something that unfortunately is going to be a CG movie. That's not labeled as a live action movie. And the way that I see it is Hollywood, you know, they want to make a CG movie, but if they do a CG movie, they want to make sure that the voice actors are well-known names. And, you know, I think that how we were able to get away with Peter Cullen being Optimus Prime in the Michael Bay movies and Frank Welker being Megatron in the later Michael Bay movies was because at the end of the day, as crazy as this sounds, they weren't the stars of the movie. They weren't the marquee guys on the movies, you know, at the top. And that's how we're able to get away with that, with having Peter Cullen. I worry that if we did a CG movie of Transformers, Optimus Prime isn't going to be the main character if they make it Peter Cullen. They will make Optimus Prime the main character if it's not Peter Cullen. If they hire John Cena or, you know, B-list celebrity here, they'll make Optimus Prime the main character and they'll do a CG movie. But that's the one thing I've always worried about is they'll kind of go in that direction and try to, you know, you look at Shrek and it's like you look at the three main characters of that movie, which is Shrek, Princess Fiona, and Donkey. And all three of those at one point or another were A-list actors. And, you know, Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, and Eddie Murphy. And that's kind of the way animation has kind of gone now, is they need to have a name that is the voice. I mean, Disney could sometimes get away with it because they're Disney and all that really matters is it's the next Disney movie. But even Disney sometimes is guilty of it too, where they'll throw in, you know, random B-list or A-list celebrity. So it's just that, like, what we want, Hollywood isn't really ready to give to us yet, which is a shame, unfortunately, because what we want is we want an amazing Cybertronian movie that builds a story on Cybertron, creates characters that we're dedicated to, and then when that story comes to Earth, and then you get your live-action Transformers movie, because it would actually have live-action humans running around and flailing their arms, we'd be attached to those characters at that point. And the one thing that I find is, and I've said this a lot of times, and I think I said it with Aaron Archer too when I had him on the show, was he and me agree that you could watch any of those Michael Bay movies in any order and it doesn't feel like you're missing anything, because there was no character development from one movie to the next of the robots that if you missed a movie, you really missed out on something. Like, oh man, the way that movie 1 to 2 and how, Sideswipe, his character arc and how he changed, or Drift's character arc, or, Ironhide's character arc, or Ratchet's character arc, or Jazz's character arc before he got killed, or, like that's the problem with those movies, is that they don't possess that, and thus there is no FOMO, and the movies don't really have any kind of excitement to them. Do they make money? They do, but in a region where writing isn't that important. There's a great interview. I wish I could find it. It was on television. I can't find it online, where they were interviewing Will Smith when he was, I think he was doing what was that movie there with the zombies? Oh my God, I forget what that movie, but not zombies, but it was like, he was like, I think it was called Unbreakable or something. I'm so bad with movie names. But I remember he was being interviewed for that movie, and then they asked him about past movies that he's done that didn't do very well. And he talked about Wild Wild West that he did. And he said, it's amazing, that movie didn't do well at all in America because people didn't find it funny and the writing wasn't very good. We brought that movie to China, and it absolutely destroyed just because it had named celebrities in them. And so that was kind of like the beginning. I Am Legend. Thank you, Dan. And it's just like, I just remember like going like, and that sums it up, is that their market has a very different kind of way that they consume movies and what they find entertaining and what they don't find entertaining. And it's a little more surface level, unfortunately. So those Transformer movies, it's all surface level. It doesn't matter if there's a story going on, or or if there's some kind of great character arc or something like that. They'll make more money in China than they'll make anywhere in the world, and they kind of rested on those laurels, unfortunately. And Aaron Archer said too, like, Revenge of the Fallen really also kind of put the last nail in the coffin, because when that writer's strike happened, and they had to put together a movie extremely quickly without the writers. And then they saw, wow, we were able to put Revenge of the Fallen together in like 2 weeks, and Michael Bay was behind most of it. And look how much money the movie made. Why are we worrying about story, character development, or anything like that? Now, keep in mind, it was like 2009. And, the Marvel Cinematic Universe really didn't write the prototype for how it is to get people to have FOMO. For people who don't know what FOMO is, fear of missing out. Like, I always say that the ultimate FOMO, which was created by Marvel, was Guardians of the Galaxy. Because here's all these movies that did extremely well, and then that had established characters that people, even if you didn't know who Captain America was, you knew who Captain America was. And Iron Man and some of these other characters, even if you weren't a kid in the 90s. But when they did Guardians of the Galaxy and people were just like, oh, if I don't see this movie, I might not know what's going on with Avengers and everything else. So people went to see Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but more so people went to see it because they were scared, that fear of missing out, the FOMO. The Transformers movies don't have FOMO. They don't. If you miss Dark of the Moon, it doesn't matter what happens in Dark of the Moon when you get to Age of Extinction. It doesn't matter what happened in Age of Extinction by the time you get to The Last Night. There's so much that's in between the lines anyways. Like when you show up in The Last Night and there's the baby Dinobots and they go, oh, maybe that was explained in the last movie. No, it wasn't. So it doesn't make a difference. It won't make a difference either way. But that's always been kind of the thing. And And it's just like, the way that I see it is we need to really, 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 really hope that this Bumblebee movie is good. I really do. That's what it is at the end of the day. There was 2 scripts that were being written at the same time. The James Vanderbilt script for the Beast Wars movie, and the Jobby Volt script of Bumblebee. And so that one got chosen. They got the director for it. Bumblebee 2 is going to be our next movie. What's it's going to be, we don't know. Is it going to be another back in time movie? This time it's the 90s for Bumblebee. I don't know. I mean, they kind of already did that with Captain Marvel. So do we need another 90s throwback movie? I guess we shall see. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just hope it's good. I really hope it's good, because the Bumblebee movie did okay. It didn't do great. It did okay. And what I worry about is sometimes with cinemas and companies, when it does okay, it still makes money, but it does okay, that kind of makes them go, do we want to like put all the effort into it? You know, and especially like from a toy standpoint, the Bumblebee movie toy line did not do okay. Studio series stuff did okay. Bumblebee movie toy line didn't do okay. So that's another thing too, where I don't know, man. We have to really see where this is going to go. Like, I don't want to sound negative, but I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. Hope that that something works out ultimately in the end. Because I don't know. The movies have always been a double-edged sword for me. It's always been like, they're there, they make money, they bring in people, they keep Transformers in the mainstream consciousness of pop culture. It keeps them there, as opposed to like pre-2007, where Transformers was relegated to comic books and television, and that was it, and that kept them in a niche corner. And especially in a world today where television and comic books are unfortunately even less important to the mainstream. And, you know, with streaming services and stuff taking away all that attention, the movies are a necessary evil to remind mainstream audiences, hey guys, Transformers are still around. Here's the latest trailer. Get hype, 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 hype. Because if they don't do that, you know, there's going to be people that are not going to care. And then when you have like stuff like, you know, the Big V kicking around, movie theaters are not going to be a thing. See Wonder Woman 1984, the movie that is currently in purgatory right now. They're still trying to figure out what they're going to do. I think they announced something recently. But the point is that that's another thing too, is that even when we do finally get the Bumblebee 2 movie, depending how the world is, like in the state that it's in, will be very interesting to see how they're going to distribute it. You know, it's going to be something that is going to be kind of crazy. Michael Koo, one of my members, said here, live action movie suggestion, Quintessons have taken over the Guardians, and the Autobots and Decepticons need to team up to win the day. Well, we were, again, that was the open-ended thing that we were left with Quintessa, with Age of Extinction. Excuse me, The Last Night. You know, we were introduced to Quintessa, so Quintessons are the creators. There is something there. It's just that I feel like they kind of just left it off at that. And it's so sad that we don't have a good transparency with Paramount Studios and Hasbro on, do they really want to continue the Michael Bay movies? Is the Bumblebee movie going to be the new continuity? Is it a Splinter kind of thing where we'll have Bumblebee movie stuff and then Bay continuity sequels? What is this Beast Wars movie? Is it part of that? You know, like it's such a shame that still to this day we don't really have a clear answer for that. And it really is. It really, really is. I don't know. It's right now it's tough to predict what's going to be happening in the world right now, because even though we have all, you know, there's a new president with you guys and everything, and there's this whole new rollout with stuff in relation to the Big V, and I don't want to get too much into that because that's I'm not a doctor and I'm not an expert. I'm some Canadian boy with with opinions that aren't political. So I'm not going to get deep into that. But I just hope that when everything is said and done, we'll be able to kind of return to some kind of normality again. Because while our toy collecting really hasn't been affected that much, if anything, it's increased for a lot of people. It really has. Just a lot more buying online, a lot more free shipping, a lot more picking up stuff at your door. But at the same time, it's like, we'll see what happens when it relates to movies, when it relates to consumption of media. I mean, I'm pretty sure Netflix has been smiling ear to ear with the amount of people that have been consuming that on a large basis because they just can't go out to watch movies. If you were an individual that every Saturday night you went to catch a movie in theaters, or every second weekend or something, it was a thing you did with your friends. Now it's you're stuck in front of your TV watching Netflix. That's your new normal now. And as a result, Netflix, all the streaming service, they're probably very aware of that, including Hasbro, and going like, we got to put stuff out there because that's where the eyeballs are. The eyeballs aren't in the lobby at a movie theater looking at the marquees going, hey, what movie do we see today? Oh, we're going to see Bumblebee. Now it's going to be people scrolling through Netflix going like, hey, what's this War for Cybertron Siege thing? And then hoping they see that. They go, oh, this is pretty cool. I like Transformers. They go out. They buy a Transformer toy. They get their first cigarette. Oh, that's good. Well, I want more of that. And then before you know it, they're hooked. So let's hope that works out. Let's hope that works out for them. I still firmly believe Hasbro's probably going to invent their own streaming service. I still stand by that. I still stand by that completely. I think that that's the future of that company, is that they're going to really look into making a streaming service and doing that kind of stuff. Please make that into a screenshot. I'll make it into a GIF. I'll try to find it. Someone remember what time that is on the stream, and I'll turn that into Protoman toking a tiny turbo changer Optimus. Oh, and there he goes. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, everything that's going on, and it's just, we're all just trying to figure out, the nuttiness that's going on in the world right now. And I don't know, I kind of like it. I kind of like chilling at home on a Saturday. I used to go out every Saturday and do stuff with friends, and now I'm just kind of like, this is nice. This is nice. Just hang out with you guys. Don't have to do anything. Maybe I'm not even wearing pants. Actually, I am, but it's just nice. It's good stuff. Good stuff. What else happened this week? There was a lot of stuff that happened this week. There's a lot of cool stuff that we got this week. Trying to see what else was popping. Other topics, other cool stuff. Michael Koo, one of my members. What does he say here? You know that Takar Tomy would have fill-in series between Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom. Well, it used to be back in the day that would have happened. But now Takara and Hasbro have a lot of synergy now. They really do. They really, really do. There's a lot of synergy going on between them. They make sure that they work on stuff together. If a character is present in the series, it's determined between those two companies, because they know, like, if we're going to use this character, what does this character matter to the American market as opposed to the Japanese market? Characters like Wingsaber from Energon or Superlink were decisions of that. Were decisions of like, hey, here's a character that really matters in the Japanese market because he's kind of like an homage to Star Saber. And then here's a character that we could kind of introduce to the American market as a result of that, and create a trademark, because there was no Wingsaber trademark before that. So which could kind of be the Star Saber trademark, because they already had Star Saber from Armada over there. But we'll see what happens. we will see what happens with that. You know, it's something that when it comes to Hasbro and deciding characters, I've said this many times, it's always been in relation to the trademarks. You know, if someone goes, man, I can't wait for Retrax to get a Kingdom toy, and then I just go, does Retrax even have a trademark? No? Then you better hope that they make Retrax and call them Ironhide or something, because otherwise that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen at all. But at the end of the day, I think we have a pretty stacked list of stuff that we're going to be getting from Hasbro to begin with through Kingdom. I mean, I think what we haven't even had revealed to us yet is still going to be a big deal. You know, there's still so much. And I mean, and then not even that X-Men jet that was shown to us, that collaboration one there. Like, I totally forgot to talk about that. Expanse, which I'm not a fan of the name. The name really needs to be worked on. But, I mean, Expanse, like, what is going on with that thing? That thing, like, you can't see it, but I have a huge display of the Marvel crossover Transformer stuff, because when that came out, I wanted that to be amazing. I wanted that line to be amazing, because I was just like, oh man, like, this like marriages two things that I really love, and it's crazy. It's so crazy that they did this. But at the end of the day, I still feel it's just a Cyclops figure. Like, I understand it has the claws, it has the Psylocke blade and everything, but it really is just a Cyclops figure. X-Pants? Yeah, X-Pants. I don't know, they should have just called it like Danger Room or something. Just give it like a simple name. I don't know. Such a weird... Who decided that name? Man, that is a weird copyright thing. That's, once again, that's Hasbro with their collaborative stuff. That's stuff that's outside of the Transformer team. And they have, like, weird guys working on that stuff. You know, like Gigawatt, that's kind of like a given for a name. You know, Ectotron, that's kind of lazy. It's like, it's Ecto-1, Ectotron, Ectocron, Ectobot. You know, like, not very original. But aside from that, like, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. It looks good in some photos. Looks kind of weird in other photos. I know there's some mistransformed photos kicking around and stuff. But we'll see what happens with that. Because that is a weird one. And that's going to be an expensive one, too. That's going to be a really, really, really expensive one, because that's a leader class Studio Series remold, where up to this, like, I mean, Gigawatt was $29.99 and he was a deluxe remold repaint of Sideswipe. Ectotron, I forget how much he was. I think he was $39.99. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but he was $39.99. He was the repaint remold of whatever you want to call a hotspot and everything like that. So he was pretty pricey too. And then we don't really have a mold that the Top Gun one was based on. I mean, it has the engineering from the old G2 smokescreen and stuff, but I mean, it's just it's kind of concerning how pricey he is and how big he is. I mean, $69.99. That thing's gonna be like $100 in Canada. I'm telling you, it's gonna be $99. Watch this. I'm gonna be paying what should have been Titan prices back in the day for a leader class, which is brutal, which is absolutely brutal. $64.99 according to Michael. Thank you. But yeah, it's gonna be pricey. It's gonna be pricey. So we'll definitely see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens with that, because that was a surprising one. And it's like, it's funny because the way they marketed it, they're like, oh, this is supposed to be a throwback to the X-Men animated cartoon, but that wasn't even like an anniversary, because like this year and next year isn't like an even number for an anniversary or something. Like next year, 2021 would have been at least the 30th anniversary of the first issue of the Jim Lee X-Men comic books, which kind of launched all of this in a lot of ways, like that style and that popularity. But that was a long time ago, and most people weren't even probably born in the chat here when that happened. I was an old man. I actually, if you go on my Instagram, I took some photos a few months ago of those old comics. But it is what it is. And now it's a matter of just waiting out and seeing out what's going to be happening with Kingdom now. We still have we don't have Pterosaur yet. We don't have Scorponok yet. We don't have Waspinator yet. We haven't seen Tigatron, even though he's been all over the packaging too. We haven't seen a leader class Galvatron yet that keeps getting rumored and everything. Still quite a few stuff still to be shown to us, unfortunately. So we don't know everything that's happening in this line. And hopefully, I mean, my one fear is that, I'll get to that later. We have a super chat question from the Podsky. Thank you, Podsky. Here's a funny continuity quirk about War for Cybertron Netflix show. How do the Autobots and Decepticons end up with modern-day Earth modes if they're landing on Earth during the Beast Wars? Trust me, man, I'm still trying to figure out, some of the... Look, think about it this way. Like, every version of Cybertronian designs prior to, like, let's say what Siege is doing, and maybe a little bit of, like, War Within, which you guys can't see because it's off screen down there. War Within over there. It's always been stuff without wheels. Hovercraft, stuff like that. Even the War for Cybertron video games. Stuff had wheels, but when they moved, they kind of, like, hovered and everything. And, I mean, think about it this way. Like, Bumblebee was... his War for Cybertron toy is a Volkswagen Beetle. So I got a better question. It's one thing in Earthrise when they're going to be landing on planets and getting Earth designs, or landing on Earth and prehistoric Earth and getting Earth designs. But why Bumblebee? Where'd you get a Volkswagen on Cybertron 4.4 million years ago? So that's always been a weird thing. That's always been a very weird thing. And I understand, like, when you look at the old cartoon and the character models, like Optimus still had, like, his traditional chest and everything, even though he transformed into some kind of weird Cybertronian design in the comics. If I could reach, where is... I don't know, because I have all my books. Hold on a second. Let me grab this one. This is an old one. This was one of the first collected versions of the Marvel comics back in the day. It was done by Hasbro and Milton Bradley when they would sometimes collect their Marvel books together. I think this is issues 1 to 3. Excuse me. This was issues 1 to 3 together back in the day for $2.95 when you got collected stuff for that. I think this came out in 1985 though. It came out a year afterwards. But let me show you. Where's Optimus? They had a nice shot of Optimus and his weird. There we go. Optimus is weird. Like, that was literally his alt mode. Oops. I have to fix the focus every time. Where are you? There we go. So, you got Optimus with his weird alt mode there. But, yeah, you look at his chest there. Oh, he's still traditional. Still traditional truck bot chest and everything. But, even back then, they kind of had these weird designs and stuff. And then they show up on Earth. I love how, like, how weird the designs were back then. Look at that. Love that. I love that. Look how bad the coloring was. Sunstreaker's shoulders are red. Bumblebee with his toy accurate head. A very creepy looking Huffer. Look at Huffer, man. And then a super toy accurate Ironhide. Yeah, that lasted all 5 seconds. And there's that Cliff Jumper, which looks nothing like Bumblebee. Oh, how that would change. Oh, how that would change. Oh, how that would change. Painfully so. But yeah. It's just... I'm sorry about the camera, though, guys. I'm going to get a new one soon. The zoom... I was talking to one of my computer guys, and he was like, the Zoom boom ruined webcam prices. But yeah, getting back to what Potsky said, you know, like, it's going to be weird because you're going to have like Ultra Magnus is the best example. Like, you know, it's like Ultra Magnus had a Cybertronian design, and now here he is, and he has his Earth mode design. The rumor that people are saying is it's not the same Ultra Magnus. This is an Ultra Magnus from an alternate universe and an alternate destiny, and it's not the same one. This is one from the future or something, and that's why it also explains stuff like Cyclonus and Galvatron, and then later on Rodimus, supposedly, as the Supreme class figure. Not Supreme, Commander, Commander class figure. I still call it a Supreme sometimes. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do, because I don't think we're going to get an explanation. I think that we just got to kind of accept that we end up... Orlando, you should ask a question, bro. Don't just give me money. Ask a question too. Guys, if you're going to super chat questions, like, ask a question too. I know that you like giving money, but ask a question also, brother, Orlando. But thank you. Thank you for the camera fund money. It's more, let me tell you something. Half of it is camera fund money. The other half of it is, holy crap, it is impossible to find a decent webcam right now on Amazon because everyone is buying them up money. Like, cameras that used to be $100 are like $200 now. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid what's going on right now. And also it's because, look, all the schools now need webcams. All the kids now need webcams. All the businesses need webcams. A guy like me who's a car mechanic, you know, we don't need webcams for our job. We just show up and get our hands dirty and burn ourselves or something. So, different story. Michael wants to know, well, if time is broken in the War for Cybertron Kingdom, then the alternate reality is Ultra Magnus never died. Well, that's true too. Again, one thing that is going to be very important that we're kind of forgetting, we're jumping ahead a little bit, is what is going to happen in that Kingdom Netflix series. What is going to be the story in that? Like, we have, like, oh, the mercenaries and the repaints, retools that, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of in the series. But we don't really know the basis of the story. We just know they land somewhere, and Bugbite and Exhaust and the Coneheads are involved in some way. And we don't really know much else outside of that. And we have Megatron going like, "You've doomed our planet, Optimus." You know, like, we don't really know much outside of that, unfortunately. Orlando, you're not going to ask a question, brother? Or maybe it's just slow. Maybe my computer's slow and hasn't gotten to you yet. But yeah, it's there's a, you know, we'll see what happens. Do we have a date for that? Do we have a date for Earthrise? Like, we have something we could count down to or be excited about at least? Because we just have, like, no Transformers material right now. We have those two Cyberverse movies that are supposedly coming, which also have no date yet. And the only reason how we even found out about those was some, like, United Kingdom magazine thing had, like, 2 little listings, and that's how we found out about it. Hasbro has still yet to give a public press release on that kind of stuff. And it's been, like, 3-4 weeks now since that. So it's so weird, man. Like we don't know what's happening for a date about the Cyberverse movies. The fact that we even know about them was a mistake, and we still know nothing. We still don't have any kind of an official date or indication officially what's going on with the Bumblebee movie and when that's going to happen. Just, it's 2021 and we just got a director. So it's like, okay. And again, I'll let the movie stuff slide because of how difficult the movie industry is in right now. But it's so weird. We're just kind of in the dark. I think they should really be focusing on home television material and home screen material stuff, because that's going to be the immediate future for at least for the next 6 months, if not a year. I mean, I don't want to sound negative, but I mean, until the world really gets its act together, you know, it's really important. You know, like, I think that when all of this started, and granted they couldn't have known how long this was going to last, the big V and everything, but when all of this started in March, at the beginning of the year, they should have really kind of like went, I think we need to really think about, the next 5 months, 10 months, half a year, to a year, and think about their way that they're going to put out product. Very important. Michael, who is one of my members, wants to know, I hope that Transformers Earthrise will be a Christmas release. Netflix is probably scrambling to do an English and Japanese ADR. I hope you're right. That'll be cool to have it during the holiday season. It sucks? Like, usually, and I mean, I was looking at my calendar not too long ago, too, because I always have I have a Post-it. I probably shouldn't show you the Post-it because it has passwords on it and stuff, too, but I have a Post-it that I always keep on my tower, and it has, important dates and stuff that I have to get ready for, and it was Christmas Eve and Christmas were going to fall on Thursday and Friday, so I would have had those days off, and I was going to plan this whole Christmas holiday week. I was going to go to Toronto and maybe go to the States, and this was before all of the craziness happened, and I was going to do tons of shopping there, and and because in Canada on the 26th after Christmas is Boxing Day, which is a big deal for Canadians because we're crazy and a little backwards sometimes. So I was going to do Boxing Day in Toronto and everything, and maybe I was going to go to the States afterwards because, the border from my house, no joke, the border is 20 minutes. From my house to the American border, I could be in Plattsburgh in 35, 40 minutes, no problem. So, I remember in the past, I used to literally wake up in the morning, go to Plattsburgh, do my Transformer shopping, and come back and cross the border before lunchtime. But, I miss that I'm not going to be able to do that. It sucks. And so the holidays are going to come up and I won't even be able to do a nice big trip. I'll probably just chill at home. Who knows? No joke. And when I lean in like this, because I'm talking to the microphone here, no joke. I think that I'm going to probably be spending Christmas with you guys on camera. No joke. I'm telling you, because the way that things are going, it's probably going to be the case. I'm probably not going to spend it with family or anything like that. Usually I spend it with family. With all the dogs and cats and my family and stuff like that, and my sister, but we shall see. Orlando, did you ask a question? Oh, here we go. Orlando finally asked a question. Thank you again, Orlando, for the super chat. When do you think we'll see more ARC Last Autobot? We've seen almost everything else, but what do you want to see the most? Well, number one, we recently had that card. I actually posted it on my Twitter. So the card indicates 100% we're getting the ARC toy, more than anything there too. I just want to see that robot mode done proper. We've seen the images. We saw the big wide piece of art with the ARC standing in the background there. It's just a matter of, let's see the toy, man. And what I'm more curious more than anything is how good of a ship is it? Is it going to have a ship mode where it has a cockpit that opens and you could put the Scout scale Optimus Prime and Megatron? Maybe that's why the Optimus is small, so he could sit inside the ARC. Maybe that's why he's a smaller class figure, so it works for that. Is the ARC going to have some kind of integration with already the ramp kind of gimmick that's going on with Skylynx and Scorponok and all the larger price point stuff? 200% the ARC is going to be part of the Netflix series. All the high price point stuff always makes an appearance in the Netflix series. So that I'm not too worried about. But it's just, I'm really, really, really curious how they're going to go about that. I'm really curious because the ARC is going to probably be one of those Titan things that I'll if it's really good looking and Hasbro doesn't hook me up with one, it's probably something I'm going to want to buy day one. I'm really on the fence. When I saw Omega Supreme, I was like, okay, that's a really cool city kind of bot thing. I really like the little racetrack, I guess we'll call it, the little track that he has. But I call it a racetrack because it's a nice oval. And then he came with Countdown. So that was a day one purchase too. When Trypticon came out, I actually waited. I actually was like, yeah, I like Trypticon, but this is when the Titan class price started to go up, and Protoman isn't the richest human being in the world. Don't let any of this fool you. This was all bought over a span of 20 years, okay? If you've been collecting Transformers for 20 years, you'd be able to have a big collection like that. And when you're smart with your money like I am. So I don't buy it. Not like most of the stuff wasn't bought day one. This was all bought on special, on clearance. It's what I do. Stephen Joyce gives a super chat. Stephen, ask a question, brother. Ask a question. Don't just donate money. Ask a question when you donate money. That's what it says down there. Support the podcast. Super chat a question. You could super chat, but ask a question too. At least give me something. I'll wait for you, Stephen, to ask something. Stephen, no, you're giving more money, but where's the questions? Ask me a question, brother. I prefer that. I'll answer what Michael's asking, Mr. Member Michael. I hope the Core Class Optimus Prime can pilot the Warp. Yeah, that's what I want, Michael. That's exactly what I want, brother. I really just want them to have something that like it could actually be kind of a cool little cockpit that you could kind of have and everything. Someone online, I don't know if anyone knows with G.I. Joe, the Defiant. The Defiant was this giant G.I. Joe playset that was like, no joke, like this big. And it was this giant space shuttle. And someone customized the Defiant. You could probably find it on Google if you search it. They customized the Defiant into the Ark. And it looked amazing. And he put a whole bunch of like deluxe and scout class figures in it. And it looked so good. I have to find that photo. Maybe I'll save you guys the headache until Stephen asks his question. Stephen Joyce. Let me see if I can find the Defiant. Defiant of the Ark custom. Let's see if someone did it. Oh, there it is. Jesus, look how big it is. Look how huge. Oh, someone put it for sale? My goodness. Anyways, I couldn't, because it was an old listing. Did you ask a question, Steven? No, you didn't. I'll be waiting for your question, Steven. That's for sure. That is for sure. But yeah, I really want that Ark. I really hope it's good. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Who do you think the next Titan is going to be? It's pretty obvious at this point from the art, but who do you think it's going to be? Ah, there's Steven's question. Who would you like to see as a commander class for Kingdom, and what about new target masters? So first of all, the rumor, not what I want, but the rumor is that it's going to be Rodimus. That's what everyone keeps saying. They say this like mutant Rodimus, which is weird, but I could see that because I kind of look at how they handled Leader Class Optimus Prime, where he just had this big trailer. Even though, like, when you think of Leader Class, you think, but because it had the big trailer, Optimus was, So I could see, like, a crazy Rodimus trailer. Like, anyone who owns, like, MPO9 Rodimus, like, that trailer made up, like, 80% of the toy in a lot of ways of the plastic. Get that big trailer, it opens up to a play set, it'll have the ramps and everything that could attach to the Ark and to Skylinks and to everything. So you have that big crazy play set with the turret, and they'll do all of that. And then you'll have a Voyager scale Rodimus Prime figure that'll come with it. And that'll explain Ultra Magnus and Galvatron and all the time hopping and all that crazy stuff. That's how I could see it. As it partakes to the Target Masters, I would just love to see a new Point Blank. I love Point Blank. Point Blank, if you watch the Headmasters Japanese cartoon, Point Blank was badass, man. Point Blank was a wheelie hater in 1987 before it was cool to hate wheelie. Like, that's how cool Point Blank was. Point Blank was like, don't talk to me, wheelie. Who the hell do you think you are? So yeah, I definitely want to see Point Blank for sure. But sadly, that's like they don't have that trademark. The only trademark they have, because you have Sure Shot, Point Blank, and Crosshairs. The only trademark that Hasbro has right now is Crosshairs. And, you know, we're talking about movie Crosshairs and stuff, so that's how that trademark exists. I would love to see Point Blank, but though, in any shape or form. We have a super chat again from the Xenomorph. I love your name, Xenomorph. Utija, if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Xenomorph, the aliens. Did you back HasLab Unicron, and do you collect third party too? Yes, I did back HasLab Unicron. I literally, like, see this empty wall here? That's where he's going. Like, this is literally his spot for him. Because he's going to be huge. I backed him. He cost a lot of money. A lot of money. Because you have to understand Canadian dollars. It came to over $1,000 Canadian. It was quite brutal. And to ship that beach ball sized mofo, I can only imagine. Do I collect third party? Yes, but I'm very picky with it. Like, I'm not the kind of person that goes out and buys masterpiece equivalency G130. Like, I buy third party stuff that I'm very confident Hasbro won't do. Like recently, best example, we had the recent TFCon exclusives. They did this crazy, like, Batman TFCon exclusive, like Batman Transformer. I forget what the third party name was. I'm super bad with that. But it was gorgeous. And I just know, like, we're not getting a Batman crossover Transformer anytime soon. I just don't feel it's there yet. Maybe it will happen in the future, but it's not going to be that figure. It'll be like a Tim Burton Batmobile or something, or like, which probably would be even better and so much cooler. But the point is, that's the kind of stuff I dig. When we did I think it was 2012, we did the Super Mario Transformer crossover set. With oh my God, Sid, what is his name of his company, which doesn't exist anymore? But like, there was the animated Mario and Luigi 2-pack. Loved that. That was so cool. So like, that's the stuff I love. I love that kind of third-party stuff that really goes in the opposite direction. There's that new third-party company that's doing those little Ninja Turtle transforming ones. I think they're called the pizza something, whatever they're called there. I don't know. I'm so bad with the names. Me, it's always like Ninja Turtle thing, not Blur, not Hot Rod, not Ultra Magnus. Yeah. Yeah, Bluster Entrenched. God, and you know what's sad? I wrote a comic with them too. Thank you. And I just want to say your name. They call me Ranchin because I be Dressin, because your name is awesome. And you're a member. Nice little Hot Rod logo there. Hot Rod icon. But yeah, like, that's the stuff from third party I really like. I really like it when they do stuff off the wall. It's the same thing with bootlegs. Like, I don't like bootlegs that are one for one. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like bootlegs that are just like where was it that I bought? I already packed them away. I really like bootlegs that are just so different. Wacky colors, weird shapes, remolded heads. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I really like. That's the stuff that I really dig. Titan class Magna Boss, according to Michael Coon, one of my members. I don't know about it being Titan class, but I would definitely say I could see a Magna Boss being a Commander class. Because if you do 3 deluxes, and you think about it, right? 3 deluxes on average, $19 to $25 price point. It works. Because when you look at Devastator was one of those Titan combiners. And he was technically 6 Voyagers, you know? So I could see like 3 deluxes put into a Commander box. And that would be cool. But I personally, as much as if you asked me which would you prefer first, I would prefer Magna Boss first. But I think the smart move would be to do Tripredicus Agent first, just because they were in the show. Just because those characters were show characters, you could give the show heads, because the show heads were nothing like the original toys. That would be much better. I think that would be like something that would be a lot more interesting. And Orlando has joined the Elite Guard. Thank you, Orlando, for becoming a member and joining us. I will add you to the scroll at the end of every episode. If you want, Orlando, you can catch me right now through the chat. Let me know if you want to put a different name in the scroll. Sometimes people like to put their screen name or their YouTube name. Yo, Lee J is here. Lee J, what's up? Lee J is an old friend of mine. I've known this guy for years. There's a great photo of me and Lee J kicking around with Blaster and Jazz and everything. Anyways, Orlando, welcome to the Elite Guard. You start with your Bumblebee icon next to your name. The longer you are a member of the Transformer Slag podcast, you get an option of different icons next to your name. You get Hot Rod, you get Jazz, you get the Matrix of Leadership. There's a whole bunch. You get a whole bunch of choices next to your name. You want to go with Oh Boy 88? Oh Boy 88 it is. I'm going to remember that right now. Make a note. Oh Boy 88. There we go, brother. I am not going to forget that. I will add you in the next segment. But yeah, that's awesome stuff. That's really cool. Like, it's just, I can't wait though to see more of the arc. I'm surprised that they've waited this long. There's Steven. Since you're asking a question, where did I get my Matrix necklace? So I'll give you a little bit of a story about it. Like, first of all, where I got it from doesn't have them anymore. So what this is this uses the mold from the Optimus Prime New Year's 10th anniversary, 20th anniversary, 15th anniversary, one of the Japanese reissues. They used the mold of the Matrix. It was a metal mold. And it was the same mold that was used with the Battle in Space 2-pack of classics Rodimus and Cyclonus. And so some third-party company took that mold, bootlegged it, and then painted it, and then sold it through a company called Stylin Online. John Stylin, he was at every American TFCon. He's the guy with the big cage with all the T-shirts. I don't know if you've ever been to TFCon in the USA. He has all the T-shirts and stuff. He's also at San Diego Comic-Con, too. He has the big cage with all the T-shirts. So he had a whole bunch of these for sale back in the early 2000s. And no joke, I have like 4 of these because I bought one and then like literally like I think a year into wearing it, and I used to wear it like every day. One of the little, because it's a soft plastic. It's like I can bend it in half. Look at that. And it was cool too. It actually fits in Optimus Prime's chest, the G1 Prime toy. It broke. And so then I went, oh man, I'm going to buy like 3 of these. And so this one's lasted very long. I think the first one just was bad quality. But this one's lasted me for a while now. There's some of them are still, I think, kicking around on eBay. I think they still are. I think there's still some on eBay somewhere. Because like I know that one of the girls in the fandom, Anastasia, I think her name is Fair Lady Z in the fandom. I think that's her screen name. But Anastasia has one also. And she's had her for years. So, let me see. Matrix Leadership Necklace. See if there's anything still kicking around for you guys if you want to get one. No, just people scalping it. This is terrible. Oh my goodness. That's terrible. The world sometimes, I wonder. I wonder. Anyways. But yeah, I got it from a website almost 20 years ago, and I have a whole bunch of them that I keep just in case the other one breaks. I wear them to TFCon. The art of my face in a lot of stuff that's drawn by Josh Perez, it usually has the Matrix of Leadership drawn in. It's one of the things that I like to wear. Speaking of wearing stuff, be sure to get your pins at symbiotestudios.com. And t-shirts. I love his t-shirts. Love the t-shirts. Ugh. But yeah. Orlando, since you're a member now, you could ask unlimited questions on the stream. That's the one thing that members get, is they could ask anything they want. Anything they want, you got it. I actually have a Patreon listener question coming up. I think it's either, I don't know what the schedule is because I pre-recorded a lot of stuff. I have a Patreon listener question coming up either tomorrow or the day after, a really good one too, that talks about the history of a repaint of a certain character that's been kind of ambiguous throughout the years of Transformer history. Really good question, but I'll save you that surprise for when it goes live. It's a really good one. Michael wants to know, other war for Cybertron Titan class, repainted, remolded Scorponok as Gigastorm. Well, I think, first of all, I think you mean not Scorponok. I think you mean Trypticon. But Scorponok really needs a Mega Zarek equivalency. Not Mega Zarek, Black Zarek. Because, I mean, we have his Trident as a character. Little GPS thing going on. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know. You know what's funny? Like, we just haven't gotten the obvious repaints from those Titan classes. Like, the closest we got was they did Fortress Maximus as Grand Maximus, and it didn't sell well in Japan. So I think that really scared them. And they just went, ooh, I don't know if we want to do any more repaints. You know, nothing came of Devastator outside of the remolds that we got for like SDCC and stuff. Nothing came of Predaking. Nothing came of Trypticon. Nothing came of Omega Supreme, which I was surprised that they didn't try to just do an Omega Sentinel. Like, there's a lot of these big molds that they invested in that they just didn't do repaints because they probably look at the... You know, the thing is when you release a Titan class, that's supposed to be the premium color scheme of it. Like, that's the best color scheme of that character that should sell. And if that one doesn't sell well, why would the repaint sell better? It's like to give an example, like if Metroplex came out and he didn't sell well, do you think the Metro Titan repaint would sell better? Probably not. And it's the same thing. If Fortress Maximus didn't sell well, do you think the Brave Maximus or Grand Maximus repaint would sell well? So it's kind of the same thing. I'm pretty sure they looked at the numbers of stuff like Omega Supreme or Predaking, and they went, ooh, the numbers weren't that great. So whatever we would repaint it in would be even less. And that's a lot of time and plastic for not much. So we'll see. For everyone that's saying they're sorry for being late to the cast, don't worry about it, brothers. Don't worry about it. We topped out at like 150 people today. It's a very busy day today. I guess because it's all the cool stuff that we saw that was announced. So much stuff. It is, I mean, I am shocked by how much stuff was revealed in one day. Normally when we get like a Fan First Friday, Hasbro shows us maybe 3 things at most, maybe like 3 things, 4 things at most if it's like a crossover thing or something. So I was very surprised by it. But, I mean, I think the Dinobot is the one that I want to see the most of because, like, I mean, it's like we only got to see like this much. That's all we saw. Show me them legs. I want to see them legs. Are they going to look like this or are they going to look like this? I want to see what the legs look like. I don't want to see this, though. I want to see some of this. You know, show me those nice legs, Dinobot. And is the backpack going to be nice, too? Like, is it going to be like this? Like, I'm really curious how they're going to pull that off. We could see in his art, he has his chopper blade weapon, his tail weapon, his chopper face, even though it's not technically his face. Rat Trap. I don't know why he kept saying that. Thank you for the donation, Michael. Just keep on asking questions. You know, like we'll see what happens. I hope he has a sword. I really hope he has a sword too. Although I wouldn't be surprised if his bone sword thing ends up being one of the fossilizer's pieces. That's the thing that I'm almost I'm 200% feel that what they're gonna do. You're gonna get your Dinobot, but to get his sword, you're gonna have to buy a fossilizer. I just know it. It's the same thing like with the mace head for Optimus Primal with the other guys, you know, so we're going to see something like that. Michael wants to know with his super chat question, he wants to know, do you think Galactic Odyssey will be continued in War for Cybertron Kingdom? Well, considering Galactic Odyssey is a Amazon exclusive thing, it really matters if those sell well and Amazon wants to continue it. I'll tell you this, all the stuff that they've done of Galactic Odyssey, with I think the exception of one set, has all sold out. Every single one of them sold out for Amazon. So if I was a betting man, I would say yes. As I lean in once again to talk into the microphone, I would say yes. I think that there's probably going to be more. Because Amazon, wanting them to be exclusives means that they give money to Hasbro saying, hey, we're going to give you money. We want exclusives. We're going to be funding these to make these exclusives happen. So we want that. And if they're funding it, then Hasbro goes, sure. Okay, we'll figure something out. We'll take, Cheetor and paint them black and then put, the Voyager Dinobot and turn them into Grimlock. We'll put them into a 2-pack and we'll call it, Battle of the Beasts or something. Like, they'll do some crazy stuff. The Battle in the Swamp, Shadow Panther versus, Maximal Grimlock. They'll do some kind of crazy stuff. Because all of those Amazon stuff have been selling out like mad. So if it's selling out, Hasbro knows if it's making money. It's the old saying, it's an old wrestling saying, if the ATM is spitting 20s, don't walk away. And so it's the same thing. It's like if it's still spitting money, they're not going to walk away. If it's easy money, it's easy money. It's always how it's been. Always. What time are we now? We're 9:30. We're still good. We're still good, guys. Don't worry. I'm just curious if it was like already 10 o'clock. Sometimes when we do our little chats, it goes late. It goes really late. I remember once we did a chat. Man, when did it go to? I think it went until like 1 a.m. or something. And I was like, hey, guys, so can we go now? We were going really late. But I think that was a really busy weekend or something. We were all chilling like villains. It was some awesome stuff. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of repaints though. Like let's look at it right now. So here's what we have. Like, let's just pull it up. I'm just gonna pull it up to remind myself. So we'll do it from like price point up to down. So Ultra Magnus, leader class, Delta Magnus repaint. It's gonna happen sooner or later. Now that we have they didn't want to do Delta Magnus with the Siege mold. That's fine because it wouldn't be accurate to the original powered convoy Diaclone shape and the flat nose truck and everything. So cool. Definitely gonna do Delta Magnus this time around. Maybe it'll be a Generation Selects repaint. Maybe it'll be an Amazon exclusive thing because Amazon, they have they're also their leader class exclusive stuff that they do. It's been usually Black Optimus repaints, but who knows? So that's a possibility. Delta Magnus, awesome. Number 2, we have to remember. We don't know what the spoiler box Kingdom thing will be. We have a spoiler box for Earthrise. It's a Black Optimus. We have the spoiler box for Siege. It was the battle damaged, whatever colored Ultra Magnus, dead Ultra Magnus. I don't remember what you want to call it. What do you think the leader class for the Kingdom one is going to be? Keeping that one in mind. It's got to be something leader class that's going to be repainted. Is it going to be possibly the Ultra Magnus that we got? Maybe Delta Magnus? Maybe. Maybe not. Could be the Megatron repainted as T-Rex from Beast Machines. Anyone who remembers that? Could be that. Could be Galvatron repainted. Like, the Galvatron we're going to get his G1 toy colors or his show accurate colors, depending on which version it'll be. Could be that. There's a lot of different things, too, to consider with that one. And then every single one of these spoiler boxes have also had a little Battle Master figure of something. So who will that little figure be? Are they going to now put the Scout class instead? Is it going to be like a Nemesis-colored Core Optimus Prime? Or there's a lot of different wrinkles that people didn't really think about what could be coming with that spoiler box, too, when the time will come, a year from now or 2 years from now. So that already Ultra Magnus makes me do all these kinds of different thinking of what's going to be going on moving forward. Then when you get to the other price points, you look at the Voyager Dinobot, I just said, we'll definitely probably get some kind of remolded head sculpt, and which should be so cool. That's going to be I'm going to pre-order that, really. The Grimlock, Maximal Grimlock repaint from Dinobot. That'll be so freaking cool. Just keep all the same weapons. Just give him the new head sculpt with the mouthpiece and the eyes. Oh my God, that'd be so cool. And then when we look at stuff like Airazor's the tough one because she's had repaints in the past, but none of them were new characters. She had her VHS repaint, which I actually have mint on card hanging on the wall over there. she has her VHS repaint, which is just like darker orangey colors. And then that's really it. And then after that, it's like maybe they'll take her toy and remold it a little bit and do it in her transmetal colors. Maybe it'll be, oh man, if they do it in her transmetal colors but give her anime face, like her manga, like if anyone knows what manga Air Razor looks like, just look on my Instagram. I did a nice photo shoot of transmetal Air Razor with her manga design. Oh man, that'd be so cool. They won't do that though, but that'd be so uncanny valley, like with the anime girl face on it. But that would be so cool. Oh man, I'd like buy 2 of those. So that's one thing. And then when you look at some of the others, like you look at Inferno, he's already a repaint remold of something, but they could totally do what's it called, Artfire. We're probably going to see an Artfire repaint, if not on the Japanese side, because we never really got a decent, Artfire toy. We got Stepper and Artfire from like the Generations molds and stuff, but let's get like a nice like masterpiece kind of sized one and everything. Or maybe I don't know, maybe that'll be the last we'll see of that mold. It's hard to say. We'll definitely see. Or they'll do Hauler. We haven't even gotten Hauler yet from Grapple. That's another one too. So there's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of repaints that we could get down the line. Michael wants to know, Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom spoiler box, how about a remold of Dinobot into Dinobot 2? That would probably require a lot of work. Because the thing is that Dinobot 2, his transformation and design is very different than Dinobot 1. Even when you look back at the original toy and compare how they transform, this new one that we get, there's clearly a lot of different folds and everything. It's kind of like, even if they wanted to do it with this one, it's such a different kind of character. And the way that his tail is such an extra piece of kibble, and I'm talking Dinobot 2 specifically, it's something that I really, in all honesty, I don't think that would happen. I would prefer it, honestly, if they did do Dinobot 2, that he would be a brand new mold. I would prefer that. And because he actually has a few repaints that are built in. I think it's called Rapticon was one of them. Not Rapticon. Or Dinotron, something like that. It was one of the Beast Machines Dinobots repaints. So there's kind of like repaints built into that if you want to have fun. I honestly believe, I think a lot of those Season 2 and Season 3 characters we're probably not going to see anytime soon. I think we'll see them whatever the next series is. And the reason why I say the next series is because if there's one thing that I've noticed, whatever the gimmick is from the past series, they always keep a little bit of it into the next series. Like, when you look at Power of the Primes, they had a form of the Headmaster tech was kept in with these decoy armors with Power of the Primes. When we got to the beginning of War for Cybertron with Siege, some of those Power of the Prime molds were kind of kept over, retooled, and released in Siege, and we were introduced to the Micromaster gimmick. When we got to Earthrise, Micromaster gimmick was kept and brought into Earthrise, and it introduced other stuff. It introduced like the ramps and all of that things and the modulators and everything. We're going into Kingdom now, and Kingdom still kind of has the modulators. It's just that's what the fossilizers are. Fossilizers, they break, instead of a city playset breaking apart into pieces and everything that are mix and match, now we have the dino armors. So whatever is going to be the ecology of Kingdom is going to find its way into whatever the next series is. The next series will have its own flavor and everything too, but we'll still have a little bit of Beast. We'll still have a little bit of something. They always find a way to keep it to the next thing. So it's something that I would see that more being a reality. And we're probably going to see our Transmetals, our Transmetal 2s, our Fusors especially. Like, I would love to see, like, just Quick Strike get a brand new toy. Like, Quick Strike has had nothing. He's had the one toy. One toy. One toy. That's it. One toy. That's all Quick Strike has ever had. At least, Silverbolt. Silverbolt had the one toy, and then he had a robot hero. You know, he had that little figure. Quick Strike had one toy. No repaints. No repaints. Silverbolt had a repaint. He had a few repaints. He had the Windrazor repaint. He had the Universe repaint. You could barely see him there. Those purple wings. You know, Quick Strike had one toy. That's it. So give Quick Strike a toy. Bring Tar Nation. Bring that guy up front. You know. He got killed too easily. Spoiler for anyone who's 25 years late. But yeah, man. Jeez. One toy. It'd be really cool. Really cool. We have 20 minutes left, guys. So any more questions you guys want to ask? We got 20 minutes, and then we're going to be popping off. Once again, Symbiote Studios. I was going to say Studio Series. Symbiote Studios, Hasbro official. They're the provider for the clothing for the show and all the cool stuff, all the cool things. SymbioteStudios.com. It's in the link in the description below. $5 off your first order if you use the promo code Protoman. Get pins, get shirts, get plush. I love the Bumblebee plush. Get the Bumblebee, which comes with that pin. Whatever plush you get, it comes with the pin. Isn't he gorgeous? I like how he's kind of side-eyeing. Like, I don't know, I love it. It looks really good. But yeah, you know, like it's just... And his Beast Machines one, you know, like Quick Strike as a trademark has been used, but Quick Strike as a character has had the one toy. I think they repainted Bulkhead, not to be confused with animated Bulkhead. They repainted Energon Bulkhead into Quick Strike. They did like a red repaint, which was not even that good looking. It was kind of ugly. If you want to own that mold, get the green one. The green one's way nicer. Very Ed 209, the green one. Orlando wants to know, will you ever get to see an original Transformers series like animated or Unicron trilogy that isn't a rehash of G1 or Beast Wars? I wish. Orlando, I wish. Me and Aaron Archer were talking about this on the podcast not too long ago, where we were saying that wouldn't it be nice to just have something that's its own silhouette? Like if you took Cyberverse Optimus Prime and you just had a silhouette of him, and then we asked you which Optimus is this, you wouldn't know, because you'd think is it G1? Is it Evergreen? Like when you see the silhouette of Armada Optimus Prime, you know it's Armada Optimus Prime. When you see the silhouette of Energon Optimus Prime and all his fatness, you know it's Energon Optimus Prime. When you see the silhouette of Cybertron Optimus Prime, you know it's that Optimus Prime, like that specific one. You have a uniqueness. And not to mention, let's not even talk about the differences of all the Megatrons throughout the years. I hate when they rehash old designs. It's nice when you rehash an old design once. Oh, it's been 25 years. Okay, cool. But if we get this, not after 25 years, but every year, imagine every year we get the same Air Razor figure. Over and over, the same design, the same thing. It still turns into a bird. It still has the bird on the chest. It still has the one gun. You get bored. And I'm bored with my leader characters looking the same over and over. I'm bored with the bumblebees turning into some kind of car. Mix it up. Mix it up. Make it different. Why do you think we were all excited when we finally got a bumblebee that actually turns into a Volkswagen Beetle instead of a generic muscle car? Because when we had Transformers Prime, generic muscle car. When we had the Robots in Disguise 2.0 series, generic muscle car. When we had Cyberverse, generic muscle car. Give us something new, man. Oh, he turns into a Volkswagen Beetle. Wow. Finally something different. People want that. People want something fresh. And if it's fresh, it gets people interested, and then they want more. And then they get excited. And then once in a while, okay, you want to like revisit and give an old design. Good, but give it to someone that hasn't had one forever. That's how you do it. Optimus has had enough toys. He'll be fine. And not to mention fans and collectors, if they want an Optimus toy. There's only 1 million of them. Only 1 million. Only 1 million. Too many. Too many Optimus toys. Being an Optimus or a Bumblebee collector is a collection in itself. As someone who collects Hot Rod and Rodimus figures, it pales in comparison to being a Bumblebee collector. I can't even imagine guys like Joshua Perez and some of the others who are like the Bumblebee guys, how crazy it must be for them. It must be absolutely nuts. Must be nuts. Ugh. It's like a Star Wars collector. Like if you're like a completist, oof, you'd be broke. Broke like a joke. Broke like a joke before you go for your smoke. But yeah, it's awesome stuff. What else do we got today, guys? I think that's it, really. I think that's it for the news, more or less. I think that's it, more or less. Did anyone else ever get to meet Kirby Moreau? Everyone else get to meet him? I wish I remember where I met him. I think it was an anime convention. It had to have been an anime convention. Because I have a vague memory of the Inuyasha people glomping him. Oh, man. I love how like we screwed up. Didn't put his whole name there and it got cut off. And his nice signature. Rest in peace, Kirby. You introduced us to the Transformers. Ah, man. Hobby Fans Nightwalk. Michael, one of the super chats, wants to know, what are your thoughts of Hobby Fans Nightwalker? So Nightwalker is, they took the Minerva, their masterpiece scale Minerva that they did. They retooled it to make it look like Nightbeat. Nightbeat is probably in my like top 10 of favorite Transformer characters of all time. Am I excited about Nightwalker? Yes. Am I buying Nightwalker? That's where I'm like, you know what? I need to see more. I don't want to pre-order him yet. I need to see more. And he's one of those toys that I feel when the convention scene opens up again, I could go to Aegis 3 and Up's booth, see the figure in person, and then make that decision, not have to pay shipping, not have to pay taxes. It'll be right there, right in front of me. I can mess with it, and then I'll know. But I also have this feeling that Hasbro one day is going to do a proper Nightbeat. Primarily because they have that trademark, and that trademark's expiring soon. So we're going to see, because the last time they used the trademark, they used it with the Power of the Primes head. That 4-year license is up soon. So I could totally see it coming sooner or later. It'll be really cool. And it'll be cool. It'll be a cool, nice little deluxe, non-Porsche-ish kind of car. The Nightbeat that I love is the Nightbeat based on the Marvel Comics. The Marvel Comics one didn't look anything like his toy. There was a whole bunch of design mistakes and everything. Even this head sculpt was the wrong one. They mixed up the heads. He actually is using Sirens' head in the design for the Marvel Comics. So if they make a Nightbeat toy, I don't even want it to be loyal to the G1 toy. I want it to be slavishly loyal to the Marvel Comics design, because the Matrix Quest comics by Simon Furman from Marvel, that's my jam. I love that Nightbeat where he's holding like the little hologram of the green Matrix. Like, I dig that like crazy. And we got another question, super chat from the Podsky. The Podsky. Thank you, Podsky. You the man, Podsky. Not including remakes or repaints, which Optimus Prime toy from the TV series made the most money? I would have to say probably, if you want to talk about one Optimus toy that probably sold the best, if we don't count the original 1984 Optimus Prime toy, that one sold like gangbusters. I'd have to go with that very first 2007 Leader Class movie toy. That movie toy, and the reason why I know that thing sold like crazy, because as a buyer and seller of Transformer toys in the secondary market, I see that mold more than anything of Leader Classes. Show me a Megatron. I don't see the Megatrons. The Brawl, I don't see that Brawl. I see it once in a while. Jetfire, like let's jump to Revenge of the Fallen. I don't see that Jetfire mold. I don't see the Sentinel Prime Leader Class, but that Leader Class Optimus from 2007, I don't care if you like it or hate it, That thing sold like gangbusters, and there were so many of them in the secondary market. So many. So I would say it's probably one of the best sellers, for my personal opinion. Obviously, when, probably maybe Ultra Class Optimus Primal, 1996, he probably sold very well too, because I encounter a lot of them in the wild throughout the years. I rarely see an Armada Optimus Prime. Maybe once or twice, 3 times. Energon, didn't see many of those. Cybertron one, not many. The deluxe scale animated one, the Cybertronian one, did pretty well. But, it's also because it was a lower price point, so an easier entry into pickup. At the time, probably I think it was $9.99 in MSRP in American retail back in 2008. So, there's a lot of them, but I'd have to go with that Leader Movie Prime, because that was, peak hype. A lot of people were buying Transformer toys. A lot of people who weren't Transformer fans were buying Transformer toys. So I'd really have to say that Movie Prime toy. Again, I could talk all kinds of shit about the movies and say I'm not a big fan of them, the writing, but I will not deny the success that it had. I will not deny the money that it made. I will not deny how much it brought to Transformers from a good standpoint of mainstream. Cybertron Optimus Prime is very popular. Great design, but I don't think it was a great seller. Cybertron, 2006, was one of the worst selling years for modern Transformer toys prior to the Bay movies. The Bay movies saved the Transformer brand. And I love the Cybertron toy line. One of my favorite characters came from the Cybertron toy line. A lot of my favorite characters came from the Cybertron toy line, because I love Nitro Convoy. I love Chromia, a.k.a. Thunderblast. You can see her right there. Right there. There's Chromia. I love Chromia. I love Exilion. I love that Primus toy. Amazing. One of the worst selling Transformer toy lines. It was on a huge decline. So just because it's awesome doesn't mean that it sold well. Armada sold amazing, and some people hate the Armada toys, but it sold the best out of the 3 of them. So that's the real reflection that people need to understand, is what was toy sales like, because that's what Hasbro's going to react to. That's why that's where Hasbro is going to want to focus on. We never really got good homages of Energon or Cybertron characters, but we got plenty of homages of Armada characters in Generations, Classics, Universe, whatever you want to call your chug stuff. So stuff like that. So it really shows that even Hasbro is aware of Armada's success, and then to, of course, bring it to it's funny because I point here for Armada, even though Armada's here, and then I point to the other side because this is where all the modern stuff is, on the other side of the room, as opposed to here. Sorry if I confuse people. One thing I'm going to love, if I get a new camera, I'm going to use this camera as a secondary camera, and I'll have a button where I could switch between the 2 cameras. It'll be kind of cool, because this will be a junker camera now. And then I'll have the really nice HD wide camera here. I'll do a nice shot like this. And then I'll have a secondary one that I could switch between the 2, and you guys could check out different angles. All stuff I'm going to plan in the future. Everything is a slow thing. When you can't even go into a Best Buy and go, "Excuse me, sir, do you have the Logitech, HD, blah, 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 streaming camera?" When that's all locked down and crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts, the world we're in right now. But at least we have this. At least we're able to all talk and hang out and do the cool stuff. It's been good. It's been good, at least. That's the one good thing that came from all of this, is that at least through doing, at least through the lockdown and everything, the stream kind of was birthed out of that. And we were able to at least do this kind of stuff, and I could communicate with you guys and do a more long form kind of podcast streams, as opposed to the little bite-sized stuff I give you guys throughout the week of news and everything. Ninjatron, the problem is it's not a matter of OBS and Streamlabs and everything. It's just I have a terrible webcam. I just wanted to show you guys. So this was the webcam I used to have, okay? This is the it's still plugged in. It's still plugged in, which is crazy. This webcam is 17 years old. 17 years old. Okay? So it's either this, which is my iPad right now, which isn't doing a very good job, or this 17-year-old. There's people in this stream that aren't 17 years old. Let's put it this way. This thing is older than some people in the stream. So, and it sits on top of right now where my new webcam will be when I get it. That's how it'll be. But Quebec's not on lockdown yet. Don't worry. Probably will be sooner or later. I wouldn't be surprised. But we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. We'll take final super chat questions, and then we will call it a day, my friends. It has been fun. We had incredible stuff to talk about today. Yeah, I would Podsky. I would love to do like a cool oscillating. I'm getting ideas. I get ideas. My friend Ego Raptor, like he's doing like a card channel now called Shuffle Master, and he has like these multiple camera angles that he does with his YouTube streams, and I'm going like, I like what he's doing there, because like he'll be talking to the camera, and then he'll do another angle of stuff, like he throws stuff in he has like a garbage camera, which is weird, but but I see what he's doing, and I like that idea that we could have different camera angles for the podcast. And we're going to have more guests. We'll have guests back. We're going to have the multiple screens and everything, which will be cool too. I really want to do that, to have the multiple screens and everything. I want to keep upgrading the podcast. I mean, here's the reality, guys. Probably one of the number one podcasts on YouTube for Transformers. In terms of views, in terms of like, it's thanks to you guys. You guys keep turning out and watching my content and enjoying it and engaging with it and leaving your comments and your opinions. That helps a lot. It helps a lot. And, when you think of some of the big titans in the Transformer world of podcasts, and we got to like fly above them all because of you guys, because you guys enjoy what I do. So I just want to keep improving it. And that's why every dime that I get goes straight into it. Look, the fact that we have this whole frame and everything, I can't even do it. This whole frame that we have, that was from upgrading the CPU. That was from being able to just do little things here and there and just be able, because they wouldn't have been able to handle this before. It wouldn't have been able to. My computer's an old man, So it's one of these things where I'm going to try to get, more guests. I'd love to have I want to do like creative sessions. I want to have stuff where like someone like Ninjatron here. I would love to have Ninjatron or Alex Milne or Joshua Perez or Andrew Griffith or any of the guys from IDW that I know. I'd love to do like a 2 screens, and they would have one of their screens where they're doing art. And they'd just be drawing and be able to like do interviews while we're seeing the magic being made. I'd love to have that kind of stuff, like the more like cool creative stuff, and people could ask questions while he's creating art, and we could do commissions, and he could make some money, and everyone's happy. It'd be really cool. I'd love to actually get Ego Raptor on. I'd love to get Aaron on. The thing with getting Aaron on is just I would just have to work his schedule, but I would love to try that and make that happen. That'd be really cool. I never even thought of that, to ask Aaron come on, because I never associate, because Aaron, the funny thing is Aaron's a Transformer fan, but it's Ross. Ross is actually the really big Transformer fan. It would be more like I could get Aaron on, but I'd love to get Ross on, because Ross has a very interesting history with the brand. So it'd be really cool to get Ross on. I know maybe you guys don't really know who Rubber Ross is, but he's one of the other guys through the Game Grumps stuff. But he'd be really cool to have on too. But Aaron for sure. Aaron I'd like to get on also. It's a matter of scheduling. A Saturday night for Aaron. I'd have to bug him. I'll send him a PM and see. Maybe if he'd want to do just an hour, it'd be fun. Just talk our Transformer history together and stuff like that through the MIRC message boards and Beast Wars and stuff like that. Why not get both? Well, see, that's the problem. To get Aaron and Ross, with the way my computer is right now, that's 3 screens? Ooh, I don't know. That's the problem. That's where the computer upgrade comes in. That already I'd be pushing it. In terms of the PC power to do that. This is an old lady. This computer's an old, like the newest thing is this microphone. This nice blue Yeti. This nice pop filter. This nice little this little arm here. Get Aaron on Christmas. I don't know. I'd feel bad bugging people during the holidays to get them on the show. I'll see what I could do. It's something where I have a lot of ideas in my head. I'd love to have certain people on the show. Like, I know that certain toy reviewers that I'm good friends with, I'd really like to have them on. Just talk. Like, I like doing stuff where we just talk about their history with the brand, like what they grew up with, how were they introduced to Transformers? Did they step out of it? That kind of stuff I'd really like to do. I'd love to do that kind of stuff where I like hearing people's story with the brand, because everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own journey with Transformers. Everyone is unique. Transformers is this huge brand. Not everyone grew up with G1. Not everyone grew up with Beast Wars. There's very different walks of life. Even Jaws D, like his origin stories with Transformers is different than mine. Even though we were both born in the same city, both lived a block away from each other, both went to the same grade school and high school, yet we had two different experiences with Transformers growing up. Even though we're friends forever. So it's something that, I'm always fascinated by that kind of stuff. And I'd love to have just I can't even think of any reviewers right now because I don't really watch reviewers, but the ones that I'm friends with, at least, like Bolt Matrix would be fun to have on. I'd like to have Bolt Matrix on at least once just to kind of grill him and go so when do you get into Transformers? Or Pia. Pia's another one too. Ben would be fun to have if his schedule is good for it. How do you get free stuff from Hasbro? You have to be an influencer. You have to be someone that Hasbro trusts, that Hasbro sends a non-disclosure agreement paper and asks you not to open the toys in advance. You just have to be someone that Hasbro likes. It's a very political kind of world, so people like if people like what you do, the opportunities come. I think the old saying is, it's actually one of my quotes, I think on my Facebook or something. It's all about the person that you become that attracts people, not the person that you want to become, and the people that you have to chase. So either way, we're hitting 2 hours. Thank you for reminding me, everybody. But yeah, so thanks again, everyone, for coming. If you want to support the podcast, there's the join button below. There's the Patreon link, which will probably be in the replays of this. I don't think the Patreon link is there. Patreon.com/Protoman. You could check that out too. Support the podcast. Let us know that we're doing a good job here. Let us know if we're doing a good job. I look at the numbers. The numbers say we're doing a good job, but I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to see the typing, the quotes, the everything. I want to see that. So we'll call it a day. Once again, Symbiote Studios and Hasbro, thank you for sponsoring everything. Once again, symbiotestudios.com. T-shirts, pins, plush, Hasbro stuff, all kinds of cool Hasbro stuff. If you want to buy from them, symbiotestudios.com. Protoman, one word, Protoman is your product code. And you'll get $5 off your first order. But aside from that, that's it today, guys. I think that's all we could really talk about. I'm pretty sure by next week we'll have some other cool stuff. But that's about it. It's all, everything. So as always, like I always say, roll out.